I love that sound. That sound
I
of
love that
breaking
sound. I
glass.
love the
Yeah.
sound of breaking glass.
Yes, the song goes through my head, but so much more. The sound of breaking glass just means a lot to me. It actually makes me think. It gives me pause. It's energizing. It's releasing. It's
It is,
yeah. Hmm.
and
Are you there?
I
Oh, you
think
broke up.
very did I break up? I'm sorry.
No,
I
no, go
think
ahead.
very I think very relevant to this episode, the breaking glass.
Breaking. Yes, I love the sound of breaking. Yes, because that song it does. It's about the past. Yes,
Yeah,
yes, yes. So let's remind everybody. Yeah, here we are for episode 2 of season 6. Henry. Loch Henry. Charlie Brooker actually taking another swipe. Like I feel that this whole thing, Kim, all season 6, call me paranoid, seems to be a swipe at us fans in some way.
I do
I feel
too.
personally, I feel personally attacked, but I
I
still love him.
know.
Yeah,
I
I'm
know.
still. Listen, I'm still Brooker's bear. That's why I put it there like that. I read some terrible reviews. I talked to some people that absolutely trashed it,
I
but I
haven't
have to
read
say,
anything.
when Brooker did his interview, and I'll go back to that quote, and I've left it in the description repeatedly now because he warned us and actually said this will be different.
Yeah,
It's not gonna be. If you think it's gonna be same old, it's not. This is gonna be different. This is like a little bit different. It's still Black Mirror, but every Black Mirror episode stands on its own. We have to see if they actually tie together the whole thing at the end. But really don't think so. I think that's a game we all play in our head, as if Charlie Brooker is that kind of genius that he's written it out like 50 years in advance. Like I
I
don't
don't
think
know.
so.
I'm still
I
working
don't
on
think
the
so.
timeline, Claire.
Yeah,
I'm
yeah,
still
I
working.
know, but
I'm hoping by the end of this, I will have the timeline all put together for you.
Oh, Kim. Oh, yeah, you got it. Oh my God, Kim, don't let. All right. First of all, I'm gonna put this. I'm gonna put this up, but I'm not gonna go that far. But you're entitled to your opinion, record. This was a trash episode. He phoned it in with this one.
No,
I don't think he
no,
phoned it in, but I
no,
will
I don't either.
say if you're looking for the typical vibe of Black Mirror from previous seasons, not so much this season. This season has a total different feel. Comedic in the first one, this
Yes,
one is a little melodramatic and it's a little like
a
moral of the
little dark,
story. A little dark.
little
Just the
dark.
cinematography alone was so
Yes.
poorly lit. Like it
Oh,
was
it
dark
was.
on purpose. And as a Brooker episode, I have to say that part was consistent. The way
It was.
cinematography
Yeah,
and
the
the
mood.
writing all work together, and the way they put the visual with the writing and the mood, perfect. I mean, you couldn't ask for more bleak cinematography than shooting it like a 1950s camera, like the whole thing. The
Exactly.
interior shots were all like drab, and the bar that they were at. Well, before we get that far, let's just tell anybody who hasn't seen the episode. It's Loch Henry is about a story of a young man who wants to be a film documentarist. He wants to be one of those guys who goes around the world and makes like really profound documentaries that wins awards. And he's in cinematography. He's in film school. He meets an American. He's from Scotland, from a little tiny town called Loch Henry,
Like Henry.
which which has a terrible past right now. It was
Yes.
a hip, cool, wonderful place. It's beautiful. God, the
Oh,
scenery. It's amazingly beautiful.
I
Everybody wants
know.
to go there. Yet it's a ghost town. When he goes back home to visit his mother and brings his girlfriend Pia that from film school with him, an American, uh, and they're going to do this documentary on an Eggman. But once they get there, the girlfriend finds out the story of the why the town is so dead, and it's about a murderer or a murder. A man who killed his family, and then they checked his basement. We've all heard this. All of you in the chat that follow me that are true crime, and we go over the true crime and legal. And I used to do the serial killers with Jay. Y'all know I know
Uh-huh.
all about this. Happens every time. You kill your
It
family,
does.
you always check the basement. There's going to be a hidden
Always.
door, there's going to be a dark secret. It's all going to get
Always
laid
look for
out.
the
Yes.
cellar. Always
Always
look
go
for
into
the
the cellar.
cellar.
Yes. Always go into the cellar, open that door, and there they were, like, found out that he was responsible for a lot of missing tourists, torture, death,
Oh,
serial
yeah.
killer. blah blah blah. Well, that's how the story went, right, Kim?
Yeah,
That's what they tried to put out there as to
they were
the
fighting
whole reason.
after
Yeah,
body, body after
yeah.
body.
And body, they were just grabbing those bags out of the
Yeah,
body bags, just walking away with them, that scene over and over again. But anyway, the girlfriend, once she hears the story, okay, she wants to do the documentary, pushing real
yeah,
hard on Davis, who's the main character, even knowing that his father is the one that got shot by the serial killer and then
right.
died from a complication of that, and that his mother is feeling very tragic about it, and that she lost her husband in the last years. They didn't even have an enjoyable life because he suffered so and was pretty much needed constant care from what Davis said. So their life kind of went downhill. And so she feels that this serial killer is to blame for everything wrong in her life. She lives alone now. Davis has gone to America to study film, comes back to visit, brings a girlfriend, and now they want to talk about this drama. They want to bring all this up. But one of the surprising parts, huh, Kim, was how excited Mom was about that.
Oh, yeah.
One of the best parts for me was the twinkle in Mom's eyes every time she talked about being on film. And I didn't
Yes,
catch it at first. I just thought she was one of those, well,
really,
maybe she thought she wanted to have a film career and she was a beautiful young girl, when she was younger, something like that. I had no idea. I had no idea.
really.
In And forever my kink has been jarred by the image of that woman in a pleather nurse's outfit with a red
Oh,
haunting mask, with
yeah,
implements, doing and fishnet stockings and dancing so provocatively as she approaches a couple she's about to, may I say it, torture to
yes,
death. Torture
torture to
to death.
death.
She was gleeful. She was sexy. She was really into it. Dad's over there.
She
Dad.
was.
Dad's over there. Davis's dad's over there encouraging
Yeah,
her. And the killer, the serial killer's just standing there in the background. The
yeah,
guy that they're blaming everything on. I'm like, oh, I will never get
and
over that scene. That
and
white
didn't
pleather nurse's outfit. Oh my God. Oh,
yeah, and
oh.
didn't he look a little more traumatized by the whole thing?
Ian, yeah, I think,
Yeah,
and then so as the story progresses, you learn that Dad, actually Kenny, Davis's dad, the police
uh-huh.
officer in all of this, who supposedly cracked open the case, but actually no, it was
No.
reported that he cracked open. But towards the end, that we find out that Kenny is actually the one who shot Ian, and
Yes.
probably because he was actually getting a little weirded out by how much fun mom and dad were having with the
Right.
tourists. It was getting a little out of hand for them. Like he was weird, but maybe he wasn't that weird about it. And so they killed the father Kenny killed him and also killed his parents because they were all in the same house. It was so dark with that twist there. But oh my gosh, there were so many things. I mean, the friend Stewart, did the person
Right.
who played Stewart,
The
you'd
guy in
seen
the
him
pub.
before.
Oh, yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Do you know who he was? Podrick from Game of Thrones. Yeah.
Yes, he was.
Yeah, he was. And then his father is a very well-known actor too, John
Yes.
Hannah. He
Uh-huh.
was actually one of the sidekicks in The Mummy. How could
Right.
forget that face? Yeah.
I
But they
know.
had very, very good actors, and mostly those that were very expressive with the eyes in how they used
Oh, they
demeanor
really were.
and body language to express what the words weren't actually saying, you know? Okay, Wrecker said, "Okay, okay, he didn't phone it in. He just didn't even pick up the phone at all." Stop! God,
Stop, Wrecker.
no!
Stop.
Oh man, people help me. Like I know it wasn't exactly what was expected, you know, you know.
I mean,
But
a
oh
couple
yeah.
of people can actually let you know that as of this morning, I was telling people I felt woefully unprepared for today. And this morning was only my second viewing of this episode, which usually in a week, I would have watched it at least 10 to
Hmm.
12 times
I
because I
agree,
get
Liam.
just a wee bit obsessed. But
Hmm. You do usually watch it 8 to 10 times, so, like,
I
I could
do.
see.
I
I know.
do.
Those
But
over the shoulder shots, I agree with
yeah,
Liam. They were very artistic and they
they
really helped.
were. But yeah, I figured out
Yep.
my issue with it this morning and worked through it and feel
Mhm.
much better about it now.
Yeah. Liam says that American lasso is without any self. Exactly. Here it is. He wants to do like a documentary, like to change the world, and she wants to talk about his personal family drama and true crime
Exactly.
because that's what people want to see. And I think that was part of the message. What do you think, Kim? I think that's part of what Brooker was putting out there.
I think so too.
Hmm.
In fact,
Hmm.
I've got a lot of thoughts on that. I really
I
do.
Juju says, I like this episode, although they gave away the ending at the very beginning. They sure did. We saw it
They
coming
did.
like a freight train, didn't we, Juju? Like I did. I was like, I hope not. Like I don't want to go in the basement and find out that like dad did it. I didn't really suspect mom at first, but I knew mom had this gleam in her eyes.
Mom
As
had a
soon
little
as they
glint.
started talking about filming and everything, she was just like she was really
Well,
into it.
and
Yeah.
when they sit her down, when Davis and Pia sit her down the first time, she says, "It's been years since I've been in front of a camera."
Hmm.
That was when I got kind of my first little, "Ooh,
Hmm.
maybe mom has something to do with this."
Exactly. And Liam says, and the whole premise that the town be turned into a ghost town, which I believe that's what he's referring to here, is bollocks because there's no way the macabre tourism wouldn't make money out of the town. Exactly. Because if it's like true crime and there was actually something that happened like that, they should be doing tours in the house, right? Like somebody should be making money just
Right.
doing a tour of it, especially the bar where we used to hang out. They should be like doing money hand over fist, putting up
Oh, yeah.
pictures, whatever,
You
everybody
would
making
think
money.
so. Yeah.
Juju, Juju, you don't know how much that was the conversation while I was watching the movie. Juju, it's like we watched it together. I was very distracted by the girlfriend not having eyebrows. And the fact that Davis had too much eyebrows, very Scottish
Yeah.
like hair, like those crazy eyebrows, very thick, lots of them. I'm like, but you know what? Put them together, they would have had beautiful kids, I think.
Oh, they would have.
With normal eyebrows, I hope.
And
I'm like,
she actually does have eyebrows. They are bleached out,
and they're very thin. They're
and
very thin.
they're very thin, they're sparse, and they're kind of toned to match her skin tone.
Mm. I don't know, but it did look a little weird. It did. I made the same comment, Jujubi. I hear you, and so did the people. So did the person I was watching it with. We were talking about the same thing, you know.
Yeah,
Okay, so it's not. It's nice to see so many people here. I want to
I
go through and see
know,
what they were. Besides Wrecker actually trashing it, I want to see if anybody else has anything to
right?
say. I keep getting stuck on his comments. Yeah, where did they go, Wrecker, right? That's what we were saying, like, where did her eyebrows go? Like, how do you get rid of your eyebrows like that? You
They
know?
really
I
are
don't know.
there.
Yes, from the first appearance? Well, we didn't say she was dodgy. We did say she kinda took a step back when she saw Pia. She was like, there's either she had never seen anyone, without any eyebrows in the dark skin, or she was just like, "Ah, okay, so, there you go. He went off to America and, well," and she didn't know what
Right.
ditto meant. Like, yeah, it
How do
was,
you not know what ditto means?
Yeah, but you know what? It's not uncommon for a mom who's living alone after
That's
like the father
true.
dies and the son goes off and he no matter who he brings home, they're gonna act like that. They're gonna be like,
Oh, yeah,
yeah,
they will.
hmm.
They will.
Like you're gonna get the big old as soon as you're in their son's life. It's like,
Right.
hmm.
But she did let them share sleeping space.
Yeah, true, true. Juju says, I kept waiting for the twist to really explain why no one was there. True. Now everybody's there, because it is
Oh,
like
yeah.
and because it gets exposed. Because let's just say how it gets exposed. First of all, mom had this thing for a true crime series called Bergerac. Is she like the
Uh-huh.
in the American, of course, true American style, she gets caught saying stuff all the time. So she's saying, "I really don't want to think about your mom getting moist talking about that guy's butt." And mom walks
Right?
in the room, right? And it's
Yeah.
like, mom walks in and hear it, and mom didn't flinch. I should have known right
No.
there that she was a fetisher right there. I should have, oh, she
Yeah.
was like, I should have known because mom did not flinch. She was cool. She was like, "Shepherd's pie?" I'm like, "Holy
Right?
crap." Like, really? Okay. Gotta oh man. But yeah, mom of all the characters, mom freaks me out the most because she seemed so like she was into it. That glint in the eyes. The
Oh,
actress
yeah.
did a fantastic job
She
of
is an
just
amazing
yeah,
actress with her
yeah.
face.
Yeah, of just portraying that wearing over the mask, that just like you never know, you don't know what's underneath people.
Right.
You just peel those layers down. That was pretty funky scary, like what was
It
beneath
really
her.
was.
Um, but she found someone and they fell in love and they were into it together, and now
Oh,
she's mourning
yeah.
the loss of it. And I could see why she has issues. But like it was quite tragic because as they discover, first of all, that you don't even need me to tell you that they're going to find out all the family secrets, right?
They
Like I've
are.
already I've already told you mom and dad had something to do with it. But
Yeah.
the town didn't know that, neither did the media or the
No.
police or anybody else, not even Davis. Matter of fact, nobody knew except for mom. And well, Stewart, Davis's childhood friend, they grew up together. His father, who he owns the bar with, like he was acting kind of weird.
He
And
was
and
acting very sketch.
yeah, and he actually goes to Davis and says he's got something to tell him that he suspected all along, and he wants them to stop checking into this
Yeah.
true crime. They need to stop their documentary. Now we don't get to hear what he tells him, but we do get to see Davis's face, and Davis kind of gets that look on his face. Another very good character actor, all that expression in his
Yes.
face. I have to tell you, Davis's eyes killed me. Like the when she
Oh,
was when Pia, the girlfriend, was pressuring him, like in a like, oh, we got to do it on this because this is what people want to see. I know it's about your family, but we'll tell your mother's side of the story. We'll get it all. She was really putting the hooks in him, the pressure, and just the look on his face was like, I knew he just wanted to scream. Like what it looked like to me is he just wanted to say, but this is my life, this is my
this is
decision,
my
like
life.
stop.
Yeah.
Like I don't want my life out there, like you're missing it, and you could just see it on his face how uncomfortable he was, and
He
why a
was. He was
girlfriend?
very
Why?
uncomfortable.
Yeah. Why the girlfriend didn't pick up on it? She was. I do agree with Liam. She was not very self-aware,
Yeah.
she just didn't
And,
didn't care. She was like the epitome of like brash American that everybody expects over there in Europe. Yeah.
you could actually see the trauma coming back up in him.
Yeah. Like, it was he didn't get to know his dad. He said his
No,
dad.
he was 8.
Oh, it happened to him when he was younger, and then his dad wasn't the same afterwards.
Right.
He needed a lot of care, and he was pretty much, out of it,
Well,
depressed, whatever.
and,
Yeah.
it's like he said, his dad died from complications of MRSA.
Mercer. Mhm.
Mhm.
Yeah. Mm. I don't know. I don't yeah. I oh, there were so many things that spoke to me on it. I'm not as displeased as record. I think when we did the 1 to 10 scale, correct me if I'm wrong, Ricker. I think you were the one who came up with 5. Like it was that mediocre to him, like in the middle. Like, and to me, I did get the feeling that it was. I don't know, Kim. Did it seem like a good thing that Recker wrote? But I mean, not Recker, no, Brooker. Sorry about that. The R's are tripping me up. That Charlie Brooker wrote this and actually planned to do something else with it, and then just ended up putting it in season 6 because it just seems a little different.
It
And yet he
does,
warned it would
but
be
he
different.
warned us. He
Mm,
was almost like, "Expect the unexpected this season." And I think some of the things he wanted
mhm,
almost at shock value for us.
mm,
Um, yeah, one of the things that I came away with on this was I think what Brooker was really wanting, especially with this episode, was a meta approach. And
Mhm.
what that's going to do is it's actually going to depict how us as humans are interacting with these different streaming platforms.
Mhm.
Because,
True.
you know, we can let it blur the lines between fictional narratives and reality
Mhm.
for us.
We
And
can, and that
that's
links
what
it
he
to the
really did
previous.
on
Yeah.
this. Yeah.
Yeah. And that
And,
kind of links it. Yeah.
yeah, and it's like we'll watch a true crime documentary and almost forget that it's true crime, that it actually happened because it's on a
True.
streaming service. And why would
Mhm.
they put something that was real on a streaming service?
Well, they would, but here's the thing, like,
Right.
I do believe that that was one of the messages that all of us, like, I damn a true crime buff, like, I love watching this stuff. I like getting
Uh-huh.
to the illegal end of it. We forget the human thought of what this all, and I think I try to do it a lot. You often hear me talk about the families, the victims, and the other people involved when we do it, because we have a tendency to forget that. We're all fascinated with these details, and even just speaking about it and doing it, what it does to the people who were actually left behind or
Right.
involved with it, and how it keeps dredging it up over and over and over again. And I think that was a big point that was made in this episode, especially with Davis. Like, I felt Davis like the whole time. That I
Oh
I
yeah.
really did. I mean, and
And
Rocket, yeah, I could just feel as he was changing through it and where he ended
yeah.
up. Like, it was
And
it was predictable,
it was.
and but it was also very well done. Very well
Yeah.
done in how
Yeah.
they chose to portray it. Yeah.
And that's something else that I think Brooker was trying to get across because at the very end, we see the pub scene where
Mhm.
Davis is, I mean, Stewart is actually calling Davis
Davis.
to
Mhm.
congratulate him on the BAFTA.
Mhm.
And you see all of the revelers in there and they've got the red mask on. And I
Yeah.
think that's another thing that Brooker was doing for us is it was showing a lot of us, especially some of us that are like, I hate, to use the term so loosely, true crime fans, because I feel like if you're a real true crime fan, you wouldn't really feel this way. But for people that say, "Oh, I love true crime. I love true crime. I love
Mhm.
Casey. I love Dahmer," and
Mhm.
I don't feel like they're truly true crime fans. But I feel like Brooker was trying to show us how we, people like that almost glamorize it. And
Mhm.
in doing so, we actually forget about the victims.
We do, and you can please that because right in the middle of the call with Davies, he just clicks off when he hears how
Yeah,
happy everybody is. He just clicks
yeah,
off. He's like, "Yeah, great." Like, but that wasn't it. Rocket brought up a good point here. To this point, do you feel that they're unsolved murders or solved? I believe in the depiction of what Brooker did, and I know you didn't see the episode yet, so that's why it may not be clear. But he actually does put it as solved. It was considered solved prior and now
right.
reopened
Re
and resolved.
Reopened
Be
and resolved.
and we also because we are skipping over one of the most dramatic parts here. The reason they know that the mom and the dad were involved with Ian Adair, who the rumor is that's why there's a ghost town in Loch Henry, because Ian Adair was the serial killer. He killed his parents, family side. He killed his parents, then he killed himself. Done. Patricide, like done.
Yeah,
Okay, he killed everybody. And then they found out that he killed a bunch of tourists when they inspected the house and found it in the basement. So they found out that some of the people being lost for nature. I mean, this is Scotland. They've got deep ravines and rivers running through things. And, as to the ending of Pia, as she's running away, I'm
right.
getting
And
ahead of myself. Yeah.
Davis even made mention of that early in, saying,
hmm
"This is
Uh,
dangerous territory for hikers and walkers
mhm.
that
It is
are unfamiliar
definitely.
with it."
Well, this is how that was discovered because they're doing the review. They decide that they're going to use the old equipment because they found all these tapes. Stewart gave a box, okay, to Davis, full of all kinds of archived tapes of the news footage and everything that happened around the murders, all of the
Uh-huh.
newspapers, all of that. And in there was the same kind of tape, and they had the equipment they discovered back at Davis's home at his mother's and father's house, the house he grew up in. The camera that his father, Kenny, used for taking scenes of the family, and we find actually used in the footage for the basement, was there. And it was very old fashioned, used those like 8-track kind of looking tapes, and
Right.
they were going to tape over some of the ones that mom had because she taped this Bergerac series and she wasn't watching
Yeah.
it anymore. So they took a couple of those tapes and they were going to use them. They had to put the tape over the opening, And the way that Pia, the girlfriend, finds out, because while they were all celebrating all of this stuff, they had a car accident and Davis is in the hospital with a hurt neck. He has to stay overnight. Stuart hurt his hand. He got to go home. Mom drove Stuart and Pia home. Mom offers Pia dinner, and you can work in the room, because she had editing to do. She is staying there in the bed
Right.
in Davis's bedroom with him, which was very modern of mom.
Very
For
modern of
yeah,
mom, which I
yeah.
did not expect.
I should have got a clue then because
Yeah.
yeah, that wouldn't have
Yeah, it didn't
happened.
hit me either.
hmm And so she's working in the room. She puts the tape that they had done some tape over on when they went to the house. They of course they had to break into the house where it happened and they had to go see everything for themselves. And they were making mock footage that looked very similar to the style that was in the box from years ago.
Right.
Okay, so they wanted it to feel and look the same. That was their idea as these film artists that they are, that they're going to keep the whole filming the same so it doesn't look jaunty. They're not going to use new equipment or a different style. They're going to do it the same way so it all kind of fits, which made sense in a way. And she's
It
taking the
did.
film back, she's taking the tape back and she's got to do some editing. And at the end of the tape, the Bergerac series comes on, but then it cuts into at the end of the Bergerac series it cuts into the film of mom in the white pleather nurse's outfit, dad encouraging her with music and talking to the tourists that were missing about
Uh-huh.
how the mistress was going to come in and have some fun with them. And oh
Right.
man, it just lit up from there. I was just like, what?
And
So like,
she comes in with, like, this power drill
yes, and she's the dance, it's just the
and
joy in her
dance.
face. The
Oh, yeah.
dance, the way that she loved the spotlight. As soon as dad put the camera on her and she came through that door, it was like, "Places, everybody, I have arrived." It was just like the
It was
joy
like
on her face. She was so into it. I was so creeped out by the look on her face. I
it
cannot tell you. Yeah.
I kept thinking, "Mr. DeVille, I'm ready for my close-up now."
Exactly, exactly. It just that still is in my mind. It's gonna take a lot to get that
I
out of there.
know.
But
It is.
that's how Pia finds out. She sees it for herself. She sees exactly what has traumatized me. And of course, it's traumatized her. So mom walks in right after she sees it. She slams the laptop down and she says and mom says, "Shepherd's pie." And she's like she's gotta go eat.
Uh,
She gotta go eat with this
yeah.
killer. She gotta go to the kitchen table and sit down and have some
It's like,
meal with her
I
because
have
she
to
doesn't know what to
actually
do.
swallow food
Mhm.
now.
Right. Because, like, of course, there's no phone service. So, of course, just like every one of us would do, she excused herself to go to the bathroom to call for help or to
Right?
find out what to do, to try to get a hold of Davis, to call anybody she knows in Scotland. Of course, there's no phone service because Scotland, like out there, like
Yeah.
you should see the beautiful area this is
Oh, it's
shot
so
in.
gorgeous.
You'll understand why there's no service. It's just like you don't need it. Like you
Right?
just, yeah, it's like you shouldn't need it. Yeah. So, but it was just so wild. And then so she goes and she tries to eat, she can't eat, and she got to excuse herself to go out and take a walk. She
Yeah.
like trying to get a signal. She takes her phone with her.
Yeah, and
Mom's
the
thoughts
mom's
to
kinda trying to stop her.
yeah, she trying to she's giving her reasons to stay. And then, she goes out for the walk and of course mom follows. And mom tries to get her to get in the car and then threatens her. She says it in that voice,
Uh-huh.
"Get in." And
Get
I'm
in
like,
the
"Oh shit.
car.
Get in the car." I'm like, "Oh God." She changed her voice so much
I
for that. I was
know.
like, and that girl just beat feet. She just turned around and ran. And
Oh,
I don't
yeah.
blame her. I don't blame her. But it wasn't the best thing to do in the middle of the night. Like it's dark.
No,
It is not unknown territory. So Pia, the way she died was disappointing. She does die because she's running away
she
from
does.
mom. Mom does not kill her. Mom's looking
No.
for her. And I want to talk to you about that because I heard some different theories about that I want to go over. But Pia does nature kills Pia and her
Yes.
actual fright. She's running away. She goes to cross a creek. Everybody goes, "Don't walk in a creek at night. Do not do it,
Right?
especially in Scotland. They're deep. They're this. It's all rocky. You never know where there's a cavern of water going to take you down like 30 feet." But she slips, of course, because it's wet. And of course,
Hits her
she hits her
head.
head and just drowns, gets knocked cold and just floats away. She
Yeah.
just floats away. Mom's looking for her with a hella spotlight. Like, was that
Oh my
something? Like, that was a
gosh.
hella spotlight. Looks like they could have found anything with that.
I
But
think that was, like, one of
mm,
the old
mm,
police spotlights from the dad.
yeah, I think well, like a police one.
Uh-huh.
Absolutely. Police issued, right? Really
That was
professional.
immediate that
Yeah.
was my first
Mhm.
thought.
Well, she couldn't find her. And let me tell you, mom was very expressive. Like I do. Now there's some debate on whether mom wanted to actually talk to her about this because some of mom's actions prior, I tell you about that. You and I both noticed the glint in the eye, right, Kim? Like she was
Right, we
excited
did.
about all of this.
Even when
So
she
there
first saw Pia,
right. So
she
there's this
made a
one.
remark about, you know, her beauty and everything.
Right. And now here, we're thinking she wants to, like, there's a theory that she actually wanted to talk to her, that mom wanted to get this off your chest. She wanted to be part of the documentary, to tell everybody what it was like, maybe
Mhm.
to talk, to confess to Pia what had happened, right? Because it seemed like
Right.
she really, I don't think the theory is from this person that she wasn't really afraid of being discovered, that she wanted to be discovered. Because remember, they were talking about the reason that Davis's father Kenny took Ian and all them out was to make a big story, to bring more drama and be part of it
Uh-huh.
all in Loch Henry and make the town go boom. But
Right.
unfortunately, when this
It didn't
happened,
work.
he actually shot himself to cover for it. And
Right?
then the next day, Princess Diana died, and
Yeah.
nobody cared about what
No one cared
this
about Loch
murder,
Henry anymore.
what happened in Loch Henry. Not a
Yeah.
thing, and it became a ghost town. And so their little plan worked. So if they wanted it out there, right, and they wanted to feel all that of the discovery of it and everything,
Yeah.
and be that close to the danger of it, right? I'm thinking mom too, like she was part of the plan, right?
Right. What
So
better
so
way?
yeah, so maybe she did want to talk to Pia and actually be part of this documentary and have it
Yeah.
all come
And
out, you know.
I was actually wondering at some point if it was going to be almost like the deathbed confession and take out
Could it?
Pia and herself then
I don't
after
know because
confessing.
maybe because she did then at that point, since I guess when she realized that Pia like is just not gonna work, right? She didn't wait to find out if her son knew. She didn't wait to find out what the
No.
reactions would be. She literally gathered all of the evidence against her, put it on the kitchen table, wrote a note to Davis that this is for your film, and then hung herself.
Yeah.
Like took herself out of the equation
Put
totally.
put the red
And that
mask on.
with
Took
yeah,
took
boy,
the red
I'm
mask
telling
off the wall, put the
that
red
was
mask on, and hung herself.
it was apparently the time of her life. I mean, because like
Oh, yeah.
she never looked happier.
Yeah. And,
It
I've got kinda some thoughts on that also, like, with her death. I think that
yeah,
by her the way she died with the suicide and the
mhm,
hanging,
yeah,
and, she pulled that lot of films off and put them on a
mhm,
table, wrote a note to Davis, and I think she was actually trying to give him closure by letting him use her past, which
mhm.
was extremely dark, to become the filmmaker that he wanted to be. She
True,
knew this could
because
put him out there. This would
yes,
make him his name.
but in the end, no.
But
And I
in the
agree.
end, she just traumatized him more and
Mhm,
made him a victim once again in the story
mhm,
by using all of this family trauma for what? Commercial gains. That was it.
mhm. I'll say Harold is correct. Pia's death was the worst part of the episode. Felt so random and dumb.
Yeah,
I don't think there would be more drama with her trying to get to Davis and tell him what she discovered.
yeah,
Although
I think
it's obvious that Davis already knew from speaking with Stewart's father,
y
but at the
yeah,
hospital.
I almost wish that we didn't know that Pia had died, and maybe we found out, like, at the BAFTAs that there was still active searching
Hmm.
going on for her,
Yeah.
you know.
I I actually think the Pia character was just Charlie Brooker. He just couldn't help taking a swipe at Americans because every
I
decision
know,
Pia made
the
was
dumb
poorly done.
Americans, the
She
dumb
just said the
Yanks.
wrong thing all the time. She like pushed all the buttons the wrong time. She was insensitive, brash. She just was like, yeah, poor decision. And then you see headlights coming and you keep walking. Like I agree. Juju said you see the headlights and like, that's when you run. You don't wait till she screams at you,
Well,
get in the car. Like you like
that's when I first would notice the headlights, that's when I would kinda, like, go down maybe the side of one of those hills and lay down so I
mhm.
couldn't be seen.
Exactly. And don't forget that she's already seen the countryside in the daylight. He took her the scenic route and he warned her already about the cricks and the cravings, the ravines that they have.
Right.
And he warned her. And that's exactly where she went. The first thing she did was hide in a ravine, and then she went
Uh-huh.
down to the creek and she tried to cross it. The brook,
Yeah.
the creek, whatever they call it. We call it a creek. I don't
I
know.
call it a stream.
Whatever it was wet, and the water was moving and the rocks were all over the place. It wasn't a good place to be, you know. And
Right.
yeah, but I agree that character, it was kind of random and dumb. The whole
It
character was
was.
kind of random and dumb, and I think Charlie was that's being an Englishman, he couldn't help it.
I
He
know.
just couldn't help it. He
Yeah,
just had to take a swipe.
I think
In
so too.
yeah. But I don't blame him because she was a dumb girlfriend. She really was. And I hope like she's gone, he doesn't have to worry about it because she would be the one pushing him to keep selling himself out for notoriety. And I think
Oh,
that was the
yeah.
wrong message because you could see that that's not who he was. Like
He wasn't.
this actually really traumatized him. Yes, he
It
let
did
it be
more
made.
damage.
Yeah.
It actually
Yes,
did
he
more damage.
yes, he let it be made. But after all, his mother hung herself so that
Uh-huh.
he could have this opportunity. I guess he was kind of torn about it because he doesn't look happy from that moment on. They show
No.
us the BAFTA awards. They obviously he wins the BAFTA and he's alone. He's got nobody with him. Even the people who are talking to him,
Stewart.
the n- no, not even just Stewart, the person, the executive
Oh, the
from
executive.
the
Yeah.
Streamberry place, that
Right.
was called something else, Histronic or something like that. That was
Right.
linked to Streamberry because the
The
episode they put
historic.
out is a Streamberry documentary.
It
It ends
is
up to
a
be.
Streamberry documentary.
Hmm. And he's mentioned, but like he doesn't get the full credit. It seems she does, the executive, as the producer.
Right?
She's pushing him around. She literally stood in front of him when somebody was praising him about the work
Yeah. When
and
the other
called
actors
him
came up.
not by name, but that Loch Henry guy.
Yeah, the Loch Henry guy.
And so you get the idea that that is forever tainting him for the rest of his life. So his whole
Exactly.
career in film will be Loch Henry guy, the worst
Yeah.
thing that ever happened in his life. He lost his mother, his father. He can't hang out in his hometown anymore or his friends because of this situation. He lost his girlfriend. He's sitting on a couch alone, drinking water from a champagne flute instead of the champagne that Streamberry sent him. It kind of really struck with me. Be careful what you wish for. It's not always
Exactly.
what you want. He wanted to be a documentary, big in documentaries. He wanted to be a filmographer. He wanted to, have a name in the industry. And now he does. And he's just not
Yeah.
happy. The look in his
It
eyes was just so.
yeah.
I've never seen eyes look so empty and
They
so
were,
full at the
and
same,
so
but they were
full of pain.
full at the same time. They were
Full of
empty
pain.
and then just
Yeah.
full of regret and pain at the
Yeah.
same time. But empty as far as if he actually cared anymore about anything.
Right.
It was quite striking. I have to give the cinematographer a lot of credit for that, the
Oh,
director for
yeah.
that, the actor, Davis, the actor for
Oh,
that, you know?
yeah. Yeah. It was
Yeah.
it was very that part was very impressive.
Mhm. Rockets from Rocket Couch. With the mom's keen interest in getting the girlfriend into the car, there's an important question that must be answered. Were there or were there not words "free candy" written on the side of the car? There were not. And
There
it
were
wasn't a
not.
van. Had it been
No.
a white van, yeah.
Yeah.
Mm. Yep. And but I don't know if she had handcuffs or not because that mom, she could have
Uh,
had some furry
that
handcuffs in her
mom was
pocket.
oh,
She was
yeah.
she was walking kink turned into a really bizarre murderous fetish that if
She
I've ever
really
seen to look
was.
on. I mean, wow. And
Yeah.
just even when you like the mask, let me remind you, the mask is right there in the living room on the wall of the
Yeah.
house that she wore for all these killings. And
Right?
we only got evidence of the one that she did, but the premise
Yeah.
is that she was involved in all of them with
All of
such
them.
glee. I could see it with such glee that was on her. And also just when Pia looks at the mask, she goes, "Oh yes, that was a gift from my Kenny. It's lovely, isn't it?" And the look on her face,
I
I'm just
know.
like that.
It was,
I'm like,
like, jubilant.
she just loves talking about that episode. She
Yes.
has all of the tapes of her crimes right there in the living room
Yeah,
in the
there was, like,
bookcase.
7 or 8 tapes that she pulled off for
Mhm.
Davis to have.
Right, Jujubee, right there. She was proud of this. She was she was holding it in, but wanting to talk and gleefully with somebody
Yeah,
about how good this was for her. And there was nobody she could talk to about it, you know? That's
right.
why I'm wondering what she would have told Pia. I mean, they I would
I
have liked
know.
to. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm.
And, one thing I did notice, and this is kind of what gave me a different view on Ian Adair, because
Mhm.
we see a newspaper in some of that old filming, and
Mhm.
there's a picture of Ian, looks like he's probably sitting in the pub, and he looks healthy and vibrant, and he's
Mhm.
smiling. Well, then when we see him on one of those videotapes, he's like a shell of a person.
Exactly. And the
So,
other
I
two are
really
gleeful.
don't
Yeah.
yeah, I really don't feel that Ian was a willing participant.
Mm. You know what?
I
I think
don't
he
think he
was and he
was.
wasn't. I think he was like wanting to be the bad guy, but not like that bad. He wasn't getting the kind of pleasure out of it that
I
Kenny
could
and
see
Janet were.
I
Yeah.
could see almost at first, kind of like, Stewart's dad. I can't
Mhm.
remember his name right now.
Kenny. Oh, Stewart's dad was
Stewart's dad was
Mr. Hold on.
Richard
Uh
Richard
Richard. It was
Richard.
played by I know the actor's name, John
Yeah,
Hannah.
yeah,
Okay.
but,
Um, oh,
he
no, it was Mr. King, Richard King.
yeah,
Yes, he
he
played Richard
actually
King.
said
Yeah.
that he had taken part in one of their sex parties until it got to be too extreme, and I'm
He
wondering if
and I'm wondering what
Ian
happened. Did they get
I
to
know,
choking or torturing
right?
somebody?
Yeah,
what kind of I wanted to hear more from Stewart's
and I
dad, actually.
and
Yeah,
I honestly think that's why he went to Davis in the hospital and said, "You have to stop this,"
you do.
because he knew there were tapes out there, and was he
Mhm.
going to be on one of those tapes?
But you know what? There's more to it too, because like in the bar scene at the end, where at the pub, actually it's not a bar, it's a pub, it's a Scottish pub, and
The pub.
everybody in Loch Henry there, all the locals, everybody, there's tourists, everybody's celebrating with Stuart. And then they take a shot over to the father sitting in a booth by himself drinking
Uh-huh.
again, just like usual, with the same look on his face.
Yeah,
Like there is more to this story. Like it's still hurting him in
it's
some way. Like
unfinished.
there's definitely so I don't know. Maybe he had a tawdry affair with Janet, and I don't know. There's torturing,
Yeah,
but who knows?
but
I don't know. It's
I
getting
almost feel
crazy.
like
Mm,
with Ian, okay, if he first went into this willingly thinking, "Sex party, this is great, lots of wild sex, this is wonderful," and then got caught up in all of this and could not get out because they were, like, blackmailing him, because I just keep going back to those 2 images. One, he's smiling and he's healthy and vibrant looking, and the other, he just looks like almost a ghost person.
Mhm. Yeah.
He's,
Well, yeah.
you know
I You have to remember that the way Ian Adair looked at the end, that was the end of the killing spree. There was always
yeah,
quite a few bodies. This was the last couple. And that the reason that Kenneth decided Adair had to go was, remember, the father mentioned that Ian Adair had mentioned the couple in the bar and was talking
uh-huh,
about them the night
right,
before he went crazy. They were talking about the night that he killed his parents.
uh-huh,
And they said that he was in there talking about that couple, that they should have known something was up, that he was just not himself.
yeah,
But, you know, Kenneth and Janet realize, or at least Kenneth does, and then convinces Janet that this is their plan because that he was going to be a weak link, that they were going to get discovered for all the murders. So they
right,
wanted the notoriety of the murders happening, but they wanted to bask in knowing they were the murderers, but nobody else knowing. Like, that seemed to be Kenneth and Janet's plan. Like, they to bring notoriety to the town like that way and bask in that light that way because they were
uh-huh.
quite pleased with what they did.
They seem
Um,
very happy with their handiwork.
yeah, yeah, that was the creepiest part for me.
Yeah,
Juju has a good question here. Did anyone else think about how awkward that drive home from the hospital was for mom and the girlfriend? I was thinking that, and I was also thinking,
yeah,
that goodness, thank goodness Stuart was with them, right?
right?
Juju, because like that would have been like so weird.
It
But
would have been.
she didn't know at that time, but I still think, she might have got a clue about mom, like, talking about stuff like that. I think mom would have brought it up because through
Yeah,
the whole thing, mom was so laid back, but at the same time, I kept thinking she really wants to talk about this. She gets such a kick out of it. She's so living in the past of those moments. That was like the best part of her life, she believes. It all went
right.
downhill from there. And it's all Ian Adair's fault. Ian Adair did this to her, ruined her life. She said that to Davis and Pio. Like,
Yeah, that's what
the
she kept
Ian
saying.
Adair ruined everything.
Well,
But
yeah, he ruined it because there weren't any more people to kill.
yeah, you see, but he didn't turn on them.
No.
He was just drinking jujube and mentioned the couple that was missing's name in the bar, and they thought that that was risky, I guess. At least Kenneth did as a police officer, knowing that
Yeah,
there was an investigation into the missing of those two, and he was actually in charge of it. Like, that's the thing. Also, Liam says, also, how did Ian's parents not know what was happening in their own cellar? Who knows? Who knows if they were older and they just don't go down there anymore? And
right.
I don't know, maybe with the gags, everything they didn't hear. But I mean, there was loud music playing and like stuff like that. Maybe they drank, maybe they got drugged by Ian. I don't know. Oh, so
I
many
know.
things I could add to true crime. There are so many
Exactly.
stories like this
I
that I could
know.
tell you that they watched TV. Dad was deaf and mom had the TV up really loud,
Up all the
you know?
way.
Mhm.
Yeah,
And that they played the music and he thought, he's just hanging out, drinking with his friends, having a party. Like, who knows? You know?
yeah.
Maybe maybe they thought the screams were their girlfriends having a good time. I have no idea, but there's lots of
Exactly.
reasons people would just poo-poo what they hear in a basement. You don't often think, "Oh, somebody's being more tortured and murdered in my basement." It's not your first thought, no matter what you
No.
hear. Yeah, it's
That
it's not gonna
yeah.
be like the first thing you hear about. I mean,
Oh,
especially if it's your child, it's
Ian's
as weird
watching
as
his
your
yeah, Ian's watching his crime shows again.
yeah, there he goes. Yes, the girlfriend screaming at the bad parts. There you go.
Yeah,
Yep. Yep, like the abattoir, and also no need for lemon juice. Yeah, I get it. Yeah.
right. Another thought I had, Claire, and this one is kind of really dark, but bear with me here, okay?
Mhm.
What if Davis, we know that he lost his father when he was around 8, so he's very young. But what if Davis was exposed to this at an extremely young age, had blocked it out because we know the mind does that. It will block things out to protect us. So what if
Mm.
he was exposed at a young age to some of these crimes, didn't remember it until he starts getting through all of this documentary and the filmmaking and everything, and that's part of his trauma being brought back up because and the only reason I say this is when he and Pia first get to his mother's home and they're in the bed that night and he's already told her about the Ian Adair murders, and she's talking about the gruesomeness of it. And
Mhm.
after seeing the location and everything, and then she's like, "Are you hard? How
Oh,
can you be
yeah,
hard at a
Pia
time like this?"
Davis. Well,
And
because
that
I
that led me to believe this kid could have been traumatized at a very young age.
true, but I didn't want to go that far because everyone gets excited when they listen. When you've got your girlfriend or your boyfriend there, and you're being emotionally vulnerable, and they're connecting with you in that way. He was talking about something he's never really got to talk to
Yeah,
anybody about,
he
the
really
loss
has.
of his father, and how it really doesn't mean what it should mean because he couldn't connect because he was never the same afterwards. He doesn't have
Yeah.
a strong bond with his father. And so the girl was connecting with him on that and accepting him for what he said. So of course he got hot. He's human. I mean, if the roles were reversed, I would too, and it definitely wouldn't be about some trauma or something in the past. Like I
Well,
don't think it makes him a serial killer. However, after going through the whole thing and becoming famous for what his parents had done, and
uh-huh.
now being forever tainted with that, I
Yeah.
could see a storyline going forward that he becomes that in the
Oh,
end.
I could too. I
Because
definitely could.
often we become what we fear and fight.
Yes.
In or I could see that. But actually I thought that the scene about you're not hard yet about that. I thought that was one of the most realist writing there. That was actually real
Oh,
and
it really
genuine.
was.
Yeah,
It was, and I agree with that. I just
yeah,
felt
I
like
don't think it was that deep.
see,
Like Record
and
said, they were just
and
connecting together and
I
like yeah.
I I do for some reason. I don't know, and yeah, that was just
Mhm.
kind of where my mind went with it.
Liam, I think you are correct. I do not think Ian Adair had the chance to be arrested. They were worried that he was going to be arrested. Remember, Kenneth is an officer. He heard the
Yeah,
rumors of Ian Adair being in the bar, mouthing off about the couple and having his little escapade. And then the murder happened prior to the police coming and actually investigating. Because here it is, they came there to investigate him, and actually it was Kenneth who set that up, that he went to talk to him about this outburst and got shot. Okay, that was the story. But the story,
right.
what actually happened is Kenneth went there, killed everybody, shot himself to cover up for it, and then they went into the house and investigated everything. But
Yeah,
Kenneth put out the story that he was there as an officer, hearing the story from the pub that Ian Adair had had this outburst about the couple and was drunk, and that made him a suspect or a person of interest that they needed to talk to. So
right.
Kenneth took it upon himself to do that talking and set the whole thing up. The only extra detail was the streaming service they used. Yep. The Streamberry.
Yep.
Juju says, I love how you dislike this episode record. I would have enjoyed a literary class with you. Yes, it is interesting to watch things with him, Juju V, because like if you and I watched it, or like you and I and Kim, we would be picking out the same thing. And he's always coming underneath with something and saying, nope, look at that. Nope, look at that. Nope. Like from the outside, it's refreshing actually. It gives you fresh eyes on it. Oh, wait a minute. You had What's Eating Gilbert Grape. Did you like it? I don't even want to know. We're gonna have to talk about that later. Record that's like terrible. I don't know. Okay, I got distracted. The only extra detail was the streaming service they used. Yes, Ian, it was Streamberry. Although, did you hear Stuart mention Netflix dramas? Did you hear him?
He
He said
did.
Netflix. He didn't
He
say
did.
Streamberry. He
No,
said
he did
Netflix.
mention Netflix. I did catch that.
Oh, fish nerds coming in here looking to hook up with one of these Brooker hookers. Yeah. I don't know. I don't know. If for I'll tell you what. For people who aren't that pleased with this episode, because I don't think anybody. Oh, he hated it and his teacher liked it, so she failed it. Well, that's biased. That's not right. Did you have good reasons
Right?
to hate it? I don't know. We'll talk about that later. This episode though, he gave it a 5. I wouldn't say he hated it. I just don't think he cared for it very much. We It wasn't up to what he called Brooker standards, like for Black Mirror specifically standards. Well, in a way, I kind of agree, but there was a lot I liked about it. There was a
There
lot that I
was.
actually liked, and I did watch it, and I would watch it again, and I bet I would see more in it. But we're almost on the full hour, and I did make a
Yeah,
challenge to all of YouTube and everyone who was in chat last
he
week
did.
about. I made a challenge to you all. So before Kim goes off about every single Easter egg she
And
found,
I'm
and
not
she
ready to give up
she
my
she
crown and
more
banner yet.
yeah, she more than likely found them all. I'll grant you that. She more than likely did. But I would like to know how many you guys found. If you watched the episode and you saw any Easter eggs, do you mind putting it in the chat? And I will
Yeah,
pick out a couple of them that I had found. Um, the most prominent one was right towards the beginning. First of all, in the beginning, I'm looking, and it was quite a while in before I saw some Easter eggs. But the first one that I did see, Davis and Pia are working on the laptop. I see the blue bear from Waldo, like right
yes,
there, the little blue bear.
right,
It was an exact depiction of it. And then there
yes,
were several stickers on the back of the laptop. Like even myself, I have stickers for other YouTube channels and for my coffee
right.
house and stuff on the back of my laptop. Bands I like, things like that.
Uh-huh.
Things that are pretty, like otters and
Yeah,
things like that. But so they had they had the white bear symbol down in the corner, but
they
it was
did.
kind of obscured by a book. You could only
It
see part of
was.
it. But they also had the symbol from the company in Archangel. Okay, the eyeball.
Yes, the
Okay.
eye.
They had the other symbol from the one from Playtest, the tech company, right?
Yes, Tucker
Yeah,
Soft.
Tuckersoft. And the Waldo symbol. There was another one. What is that? Hold on one second. Tuckersoft. Oh, that's Bandersnatch. I'm
That's
sorry, I
actually
said Playtest.
Bandersnatch.
It's
Yeah.
Bandersnatch. And the eye logo from Archangel from that company, the blue bear
Uh-huh.
from that. So those stickers, that was kind of obvious. And
Right,
you know,
those were very obvious.
okay, and that sparked another debate. Like we all call these Easter eggs, and
Right,
in the computerized software and gaming industry from way back when, the term Easter egg originally defined a hidden gift or application for you
right,
in a program, an app, or something you were watching. That if you did a certain couple of things, this was your Easter egg. This was your reward. Okay,
right.
so it kind of we got into a semantical debate in regards to whether these things we're finding in Charlie Brooker. Now, I know the internet calls them Easter eggs, but are they Easter eggs or are they simply references?
They are references, but Charlie Brooker himself calls them Easter eggs.
He does. He's changed the term. Yes,
Yes,
popular works of reference. I get
yes,
it. And so just that we're all clear when we're saying Easter eggs, that's what we're talking about. Like I could look at those stickers on the back of that laptop forever, and they're not going to mean anything else than what they are.
right.
They're not going to send me anywhere else, and I'm not going to get a
No,
reward. Yeah, yeah,
but it does go to the
yeah.
timeline also.
Yeah, and actually, Juju has a suggestion. She said hour 2 of Black Mirror review streams should be just Wrecker annihilating everyone else's theories. No,
No,
don't encourage him, Juju B.
no.
You do not know what like we watch it together. I'm going to be honest right here. Becker and I watch it together, and he did it already. He actually annihilated all the theories already, but a lot of them he agrees with. He just doesn't think it's that great an episode.
Yeah,
But
it's like almost everything he that I've said tonight, he's like, "It's not that deep. It's not that deep." And I'm like, "Come on.
mhm.
Yeah, it was.
Yep. Yeah, see, Liam agrees with me. Easter eggs used to mean something else, like totally.
They did."
Yeah, don't start, Record. What are you going to have? Your own follow up review on your channel now? Let me review the review of Black Mirror that Claire
Right?
View did. Because I got thoughts. I'm going to annihilate their theories. Like, I don't know about that. I don't know if you do it. I want a link. I want to come defend myself. I know, Juju. It is cracking me up too. It is quite entertaining to watch these things by yourself in a group, whatever. I love the interaction of it. It doesn't stop me from being a Charlie Brooker
Right.
fan. I do agree with a lot of what he's saying, and part of the semantical debate was with Wrecker in regards to, are we supposed to call these Easter eggs because these are not freaking Easter eggs? I'm like, I
I mean,
know they're
yeah,
references. They're references. He said
they
they're
are
references,
references to
and I have to
other
agree. Yeah.
episodes, but if Charlie wants them called an Easter egg, I will call it an Easter egg because I am a Brooker hooker.
Oh, I don't know. Should we try? Okay. Do you want to? All right, Record. You could come up and talk about the Easter eggs if you like, but I don't know if we want to get. Let me give Kim at least her top 5 Easter eggs before I drop you a
My
link. Because
top 5? Oh my
just your top
gosh,
5. I know you probably. How many? Well, first of all, how many do you have?
a lot, a
Really?
lot. Yeah,
Hmm.
a lot.
Wrecker, if I drop the link, do you want to come and talk about the Easter eggs? I will. The chat wants you, and we always try to please the people a little bit. Kim, do you have any? I don't think there's any objection. Do you have any objection to that
No,
part? I don't think. I
no.
don't know. Okay.
Okay, so let me give you some. When Davis
Okay,
and
go ahead.
Thea go to meet with Streamberry, there's a poster on the wall for a docuseries called The Callow Years. Season 1,
Mm-hmm.
episode 1 is
Right.
is national anthem.
Mm-hmm.
It is also mentioned again in a preview for the true crime series from the events in this episode with a splash from the award-winning producers of The Callow Years.
Mm-hmm.
There is a third mention with the headline, "Whatever Happened to Michael Callow?"
Mm-hmm.
Now he runs a zoo.
I thought that was so good. I laughed at that. I
I
laughed
know.
at that.
And,
Yeah.
in Nosedive, um, Callow posted, "Just got thrown out of the zoo again."
Mm-hmm.
That was from the Nosedive.
Mm-hmm.
Um, when Loch Henry wins the BAFTA, it actually beat out a series called Euthanasia Inside Project Junipero.
Right. So it's just a reference to the
Yeah.
San Junipero exit. And the
Uh-huh.
euthanasia part, the part that in the ending, Kelly ended up to deciding to take her own life, not to live trapped in her body anymore, and to
Right.
move on. Yeah.
During the preview for the documentary Loch Henry: Truth Will Out, there are references to Metalhead. One of the other episodes from this season, Playtest, Waldo, 15 Million Merits, and National Anthem, all within that one preview.
Mm-hmm.
On the trailer for the documentary, there's a one of those banner tickers at the
Yeah,
bottom.
yeah. Yeah, I froze on that one at first.
Yeah,
There's 4 different mentions there.
yeah. There's
So, I
one
think you picked
about
up on that too, Record, didn't you? Like, there was 4 different
Mhm.
ones there.
yeah.
But some of
Yep.
some of them, in all fairness, some of them actually relate to episodes we haven't even watched
It's
yet,
actually
which was
one.
frustrating because here's
Yeah,
episode 2, and they're actually referring to another episode a
a
couple ones
previous.
away,
Yeah,
for Demon 79. We might as well
but
mention it.
then
We
we
won't mention
also
the Easter
yeah
egg, but yeah.
no. But then we also had one that said U.S. tourists found dead at Sato Jimo, which was the headquarters in season 3, episode 2 playtest.
Mhm.
Teen politician Raldo romps to victory in Italy. Season
Mhm.
2, episode 3 of
The
Where's
Waldo experiment.
the
Yeah.
Waldo? That's it. I always
The
want to say
Waldo, yeah.
Martino.
No, because that was like the blue bear ran for office.
Yeah,
Yes, like
and
yeah,
then there
okay.
was one
Mhm.
from 15 Million Merits. Hotshot auditions open in Sydney,
That's
and
from okay. Yep,
and
that's Hot Shots, right?
that
Mhm.
was from 15 Million Merits.
Yeah, that was one of the game shows that were
Uh-huh.
on there. So we found pretty much most of the same. Okay, Record. I know the big debate. Everybody agrees with you though, including Kim and I, that they are not Easter eggs. They are references. You win. You win.
Right. I mean, we
Okay.
do, but if Charlie
Mhm.
wants them called an Easter egg, I will.
Right. We're just going by what the creator calls them. And actually, if
Yeah.
you read the articles with us, Record, you see that they all call them Easter eggs,
I
erroneously or incorrectly, but that's what they refer to them as. Yeah.
my biggest issue with them is that they were shoehorned in. They were really shoehorned in.
They were all this time. They weren't casual references from the characters or
Ta
just pushed there. They were like pieces of media, right? Posters.
yeah,
Uh,
take the Black Mirror name off of it, and
yeah.
it's it is a average at best episode.
Hmm.
It really, really was, and I was hoping for so much more because it there was so much potential in that
Hmm.
story, and it just sort of it just sort of they were like we're just gonna, as I said, they phoned it in. He phoned
Yeah.
it in.
I get the opinion that it wasn't going to be a Black Mirror episode.
Right,
Like,
that's what I
it,
got
it,
too.
a lot of the reviews are trashing it as not being very tech oriented, and I kind of challenge that. When you're talking about documentaries and the way people react to them, I think he still is making a great point in regards to how we use technology and how humans are actually using it and then responding to it and how it's affecting people's lives. There's no doubt that the making of this documentary didn't do great damage to quite a few people's lives. Good things and bad
Right.
things, but you look at
So
the end at Davis and you're like, yeah,
He's
that is the
broken.
part we forget. We forget about the broken people left behind when we look at all of
Uh-huh.
this. Yeah.
yeah, and the tech thing, I'll actually defend that because he plainly puts it out at the very beginning, through the uh, female lead whose name I can't remember, the
Tia.
one whose
Through
eyebrows
Janet.
ran away.
Oh, Pia.
Um,
Pia.
yeah,
Yeah.
that
Pia.
that it was going to come across more as an old fashioned film because, as
Hmm.
she said, she wanted that found footage horror. What was it? Uh,
The
Analog horror type feel to it.
Yeah, she called it analog horror type.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
And that's why they chose to use the old equipment and everything. And he actually answered the question why there's no high tech. I agree that that question was answered. Oh, but still, the Brooker fans out there, the Brookerites are actually like, what? Like, where is it all? Like, where's the big message? There is a big message
There,
in these, but it's one nobody wants to hear. Nobody wants to hear that our consumption of true stories, the documentaries, the real murders, the real tragedies of the world, even recently what happened, are documenting it and making movie and making entertainment out of it
Yeah.
does cause a problem for other
It
people
does.
in the long run. Or we forget to humanize everybody else involved with that story. Look at what's like
if
example. We talked about this last
wait,
night, record on our show
if that's
when we
but if
talked
that's
about
the
the sub.
message,
Yeah, when
but
we talked about
if that's the message though, then we have to accept the fact that he's repeating the message again in
he is.
another show, and
Hmm.
that's the main message this time.
I don't know, but they are kind of linked
It's
together. I'm getting
I
it's like a wave. It came through Joan
Yeah,
is awful, and it's still going through Loch
it
Henry
is.
for me. For me, it's linking together because I'm watching them
Yeah.
in order, and I'll have
Uh-huh.
to see
like
what happens with the next one. But that seems to be a thread of a wave that's just like carrying
Yeah.
through. It hasn't
That's
crest
what I
yet,
caught too.
and it hasn't hit the
Yeah.
beach yet.
No, it
Yeah.
hasn't.
Mm-mm.
like he's just creating a theme, an overarching theme.
In a way, yes. I mean, his
Yeah.
overall arching theme in general has always been how humans or react, how technology affects humans,
Uh-huh. And I think with this,
good and
it's
bad. Yeah.
it's not even so much like our tech, like how attached we are to a phone or a computer or a laptop. It's about the streaming service itself, which is
Mm-hmm.
why he's got his own little streaming service now, Streamberry.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I have a really big issue with that. Okay, so at the very start of the show, they they mention they don't mention Streamberry. They actually name Netflix.
Yeah,
They do.
Stewart did it at the bar. They did.
Yeah, Stewart
Yeah,
did it
at
at the
the
bar.
yeah,
It,
and yet Netflix doesn't exist in that world. Only
Right.
Streamberry does. Like, so that was
yes.
weird. Yeah, because that was like a little bit of a oop, like a ooh
But
ooh.
was Netflix maybe previous?
Maybe, who knows? Who knows? Maybe they're
Mm,
just in competition with them. I mean,
Yeah.
there's many
Or is
reasons that it could.
yeah,
Yeah.
Streamberry could be in competition
Mhm.
with Netflix.
All right, here's a theory for both of you from Kyle, who has not seen the episode yet, but he's got a theory. Okay, here we go with my first theory. This show takes place within the Transformers universe, but in a
No.
timeline where the Transformers never made contact with Earth.
No.
Nope. Nope.
No.
Nope. Liam said, so that means it's a no formers universe? Yes. It was a no formers universe. No.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. That is a
But
funny one though.
I you know, I can see what Wrecker is kind of saying, but again, I think it just goes back to this thing of,
Oh
it's
no.
like they're like meta episodes, and Charlie's
Mhm.
more or less kind of calling out
This
these streaming services for the things that they're making available to their
right.
public.
What they're doing is like there's more to storytelling than just the live action trauma and tragedies of other people's
Yeah,
lives. Right.
and I
I
mean,
and I get that. But I do have to admit that Wrecker has taken over the chat in the whole stream because everybody's starting to agree with him in the chat that
it's
about
it
it
just
being
seems like
mediocre because
it's
look at this.
reaching.
This is the worst compliment. This is not a compliment, Jujubee. This is an insult. It was a very lifetime movie.
no, Juju, it was not
Wait,
a Lifetime
no,
movie.
wait. It was an average Twilight Zone episode. That
No,
I'll agree with.
Yes,
Okay,
no,
it was.
exactly. It
no,
Hey,
was.
no,
It
it was.
absolutely was.
Kim,
Tell me
we
it
have to
wasn't.
admit it was not one of his best.
it
I
was
am not
not one of his
disappointed.
best.
He did get me thinking. But when I
He
was done
did make me
thinking at the
think.
end of the episode, I stopped thinking, and that's not usual for me. I didn't have the same reaction I normal. He's very thought provoking in the other ad. Well, for me anyway, very thought provoking to where it goes forward from the episode. I start thinking afterwards and twisting, and I gotta watch it again, and I keep changing things, and it keeps making me look at things a little bit differently.
Yeah,
However, this episode, the whole enchilada of it actually just reaffirmed something I already thought, and I had no thought provoking moment. I did get a little traumatized, but it was more the outfit. It was just the Janet just dancing in that white
but
pleather nurse's outfit
Okay,
is killing me.
okay.
I
you
So
know I don't want to keep saying
hang
it,
on,
but
hang on.
I know.
Here's my theory. Here is my groundbreaking theory. This entire episode is actually a epilogue of Rocky Horror Picture Show.
it is.
No,
It's what happened
She breaks
afterwards.
up.
No, that's
Janet
Janet,
breaks
right?
up with no. Janet breaks up with her
Brad,
boring ass
Brad,
boyfriend.
Met
Gets with
Kenny,
this other guy. Meets Kenny.
no,
Has a
moved,
life.
goes to
Moves
Scotland,
on.
and Janet lets loose. Yeah, no, that
no,
that was just
And
it's kind of funny though. It is kind of
no,
funny.
no. I will never view the time warp the same again now.
I
Thank
don't know,
you.
but that come on, didn't you have flashbacks when you saw that outfit and how happy she was about it?
No,
Come on.
I
Oh my
didn't.
god. And her
You
name
know,
was Janet? Oh my
but
god.
and
no, I
her
didn't.
name was Janet.
It
Come
was,
on.
but no,
You remember?
no.
Damn it, Janet.
Damn
Damn
it,
it,
Janet.
Janet.
Damn it, Janet.
Okay,
Come-
I know Rocky Horror. I went every weekend for 3 years in college.
We
Every
it's a big
weekend
thing
for
on the
three
shore.
years.
We did the raincoats, the umbrellas, the
Oh yeah,
lighters.
everything,
We all went
everything.
there. I have to say, I made a great magenta. Like I had the whole thing. Yeah, we went. We
Yeah,
wore the outfits. We did the whole
uh
thing.
huh.
Yeah, we're weird.
We did
Yeah, we're
it.
weird. We're
Yeah,
weird. It was fun. I don't
yeah.
regret.
I will get up in time warp with anyone. I don't
Yeah,
care.
it was
Oh
fun.
yeah.
Hey,
Um,
wear any reason to wear platforms and fishnet stockings. That's all I got to say.
exactly.
Okay, but Liam, I mean,
Okay.
when I was younger, forget that shit now, man. I don't
Yeah,
want
I
to
was
fall down
much
and break an
younger.
ankle or
No,
anything, but still,
no, no more platforms for me
no,
either.
no,
No
no. But
more.
I mean, here we go, Liam.
No more.
Uh, you don't know how many times we brought this up. Today actually, this morning, right? They referenced
Mm-hmm.
Blair Witch. We referenced
They
Blair Witch,
referenced
and
Blair
this
Uh-huh.
was just
Witch.
basically just a rip off on the same story. Be careful what you wish for. You
Right.
know, while you're doing
Um.
these horror shows, you're going to get it. You're going to become the show. Yeah,
Yeah.
Also, Psycho. The
yeah.
what was another one that they were? There was a few ones
Psycho,
that they reference.
Silence of the Lambs, the
Yeah,
Lotion in
Yeah.
the
Silence of the
Basket. Hmm.
Lambs.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, but it was all about like it's all that serial killer thing, the
Oh,
Ed Gein thing with this.
Oh
also,
yeah, it was.
also, another a little thing to bolster my Rocky Horror evidence. The main villain was blonde,
Mm.
just like the guy in the gold underwear.
You mean Rocky? But he's not
Yep.
a
No.
villain. Rocky was the beautiful
Rocky was
No,
boy.
not a
but what would
villain.
happen to someone
Rocky was a
who's
victim.
gone through all that stuff?
Rocky was a
Oh,
victim.
yeah, Rocky was the victim.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, I get it. I get it.
Doesn't mean he
Mm.
couldn't have changed.
I know we don't expect them all to be gold, Daniel Jade.
No.
I agree with it. And actually, there was still a
And I
lot
don't.
I liked about it. I still think his writing was superb. The acting was great. And again, I know I always say this, it's getting redundant. But even in this episode, they proved the cinematography going along with it all, the feel of it, the way they kept it to that old, even as he's filming it based on them doing analog, the whole thing had that old feel. They weren't using any
It did.
fancy tricks. It just was good. And just the shots, just like what did you think was going on when she was making the like we keep going back and forth about this, Wrecker and I, when Janet, mom, is at the stove, those of you that watched the episode, and she's making the shepherd's pie after they leave the hospital, and she's got this music playing in the background, kind of like Philharmonica, like Boston
Right.
pop stuff, almost
Yeah,
like
it's
a
a
da
little
da 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 da, da,
symphonic.
and she's
Yeah.
like she's doing this like sing along, but it doesn't actually match. Like we played
No,
it
it
back a
didn't.
lot,
It
and I know
it
that
didn't.
sounds weird, but it
No,
really
I
just
got that
struck
too
out.
because the
It was
the tones were
yeah, and
different.
she was like, "Boop, boop, boop, boop,
Yeah,
boop,
I was
boop,
like,
boop," and
why
I'm
is
like,
this
"What?"
yeah, I
Yeah,
was like, why is this hitting my ear wrong?
it does. And I have
Okay.
to, and Wrecker being an audio guy and into music and all, it really bugged him too. He's like,
Yeah,
"That doesn't
it did
match.
me
What's
too.
going on? We need to find out what that is." Because at first we thought maybe it was the beats for the song, anyone who knows love from 15 million merits, which
But
everybody's
it
always
wasn't.
looking for. What it
It
wasn't,
wasn't.
but if you know, I used it in my promo though, because we just had to get it out there because we could. It was like usually it's in an episode here and there, and it
Right?
wasn't in this one. It was in the last one, but
No,
it wasn't in this one.
it's usually only in 1 or 2 episodes.
It is now. It's all over Instagram and YouTube as my
Yeah,
promo. So like,
that's
I
fine.
satisfied that urge. But what do you think that book was about? Anybody in the chat have any clue on what the heck was? Is that like a little bit of like
Hang on a
she's in
minute.
her own head, like she's a little bit of psychotic, like she's back in the memory?
Wait,
I
Would
think
you think
what
she
so.
was
was?
the song that
Wait,
they? No, what was the song that they played that her husband played before she came in the maid's outfit?
oh, it was way
It
too
wasn't the
rocky. It
same.
was definitely not that
No,
one.
it wasn't the
No,
same.
no,
Oh yeah.
because then I'd really be traumatized. Like I wouldn't be able to do the show. Like,
Now, I will
that
say
would be
that
too much.
Claire, at one point in the movie and or in the episode, I'll have to go back and watch it again to see exactly where it was, and I can give you the timestamp for it. I did hear a single tone that
Hmm.
was the exact same tone as the first note from If Anyone Knew What Love Is.
Yeah, but that I'm
It's
just
the
gonna have to
exact
say,
same
Kim.
it's the
I'm just gonna
exact same
that
note.
it might be the same exact note that could exist in millions of songs,
Yeah,
so that would be a reach that I cannot
I
just go
know,
with.
but
Yeah,
it was
I'm
like
not going there.
that
Yeah.
was where my mind went, was like, "Oh, we gonna get the song
Hmm.
now?" And
Yeah.
it didn't come.
Mousy, when she saw that mask on the wall, I got goosebumps too because she's
Yeah,
looking at it and the glee on the woman's face, like now that we
I
know what she
know.
did, and to watch her eyes get all sparkly and her to get all happy about it, I was like, "You are one sick chick." Like
Well, and
this is whoa.
When
Hmm.
she noticed Pia looking at it, she's like, "Oh, my Kenny gave me that." It was like, "Okay,
Hmm.
I'm getting really creeped out right now."
All right. Brad and Janet evening. You may see a stranger. You may meet a stranger under a Scottish moon. Hmm.
No,
Sleep.
Wait, was
Hmm.
that
no,
an actual line in Rocky Horror?
I think it is
no,
something. No, it's not the actual
Oh.
words,
no.
but yeah. But you may meet a stranger. No, they do say you may meet a stranger. I
They
don't know if
do.
they said under a Scottish moon, but
No.
now you can. Now you can. Very much. Yep.
Okay,
No, all
Claire.
of this. Okay. So, Record, did she not mention any that you saw? I'm trying to get you back
Um,
to the
Because I've got one very obscure one.
so there was a whole bunch of references on the laptop. There was
Right.
yeah, I mentioned the stickers. She mentioned the streaming one and the articles, but I think we had another one and I'm trying to
yeah.
remember.
Oh, there was the pig, the reference to the prime minister in the
Michael Callow
Michael Cullen. Yeah,
in the Callow years. Yeah.
Mhm.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
There was.
What about the red door? What was the significance of the red door? I've seen that red door before. Have you, Kim? Like I have to go back to some episodes. That red
The
door stuck
only
out to
place
me.
I the only place I know the red door is 50 Shades of Grey.
So what came to my mind was
Sorry,
sort
that's the
of.
only place.
That kind of plays in with that white pleather nurse's outfit
It
in the
does.
drill.
It
Like
what
does.
it's oh god.
But just
Help
not
what
me.
as much pleasure.
Yeah.
this is a little bit of a reach, but what sort of came to my mind was Paint It Black,
Yeah,
Oh,
the
okay.
I
song
can see
Paint It
that. Paint
Black.
it black. Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Yeah, I can see that. But I don't know. I'm gonna have to look at that again, that red
Yeah, it is.
door.
I'm thinking, okay, the red door, I think I saw it on the streets in Bandersnatch when they were walking. I'm not sure. I'm gonna have to go look.
I'll have to
Um,
look.
I'm thinking Bandersnatch. There was a lot of scenery. There was a lot of buildings they went to. Maybe. I know in a couple of the others in the cottages and everything that there was no. There is a
and they
song
made a
with a
point.
reference to a club with a red door.
Yeah, and they made a
Mm.
point to actually make sure you saw that door was that color.
Right.
It.
Well, I like
Well,
I'm
Liam's
gonna
eye.
give Brooker his dues here. He doesn't often do things by mistake.
no, he
Right.
doesn't. He
He
doesn't
did it.
do
He
no.
did it just so Liam could create the Easter egg for us. He says the red door is the exit to the real Easter egg, which lets you know you're in the artificial episode created by the quantum computer. Then we
Right.
go out and find out this is all just a repeat, just like Joan
But
is awful.
but which fictive level are we on now?
Yeah,
Are we
like
on
which
like
level
fictive level
exactly?
10,
Yes.
20? I don't know.
But
I've lost count.
what I really love about that comment is that Liam watched both episodes and he
I
can make
know.
jokes from
Thank
one to
you,
the other.
Liam.
Thank you for joining Brooker's Hookers. You're
Yeah.
definitely a Brooker hooker now, Liam. There you
Okay.
go.
Now,
Hmm.
Claire,
Yeah.
I do have one very obscure reference.
Okay.
In the house,
Hmm.
did you notice anything familiar at all back to a previous season?
The house itself,
Uh-huh. Inside the home.
inside the home of Kenny and Janet, of Davis's
Uh-huh.
parents, is like
Right.
his childhood home.
Uh-huh.
So we saw the kitchen, we saw the bedroom, we saw the living room. Mm. Oh, I'm trying to think. The something in the bathroom kind of caught my eye, but I wasn't really saw that really ugly angel on the wall. I've seen that
Yeah.
before.
No. No.
But that could
It's
just
the
been in my nan's room because she had really ugly stuff people in her
right.
room. Like so
It's
I'm just like I don't know if I saw it on a Brooker episode or not, but you know that flying
right. Yeah, the
paper
flying
mache
yeah.
angel that was on the
Angel.
wall, and I'm like, "Why
Yeah.
did you stick it there like that? Like,
I
that's so
know.
stupid." It was bugging me. I
Yeah.
don't know about anybody else, and I didn't know I was gonna say that live on YouTube. I had
I
not planned
know.
on mentioning that, but, now that you bring it up
No.
but no, no, what did
It
you find familiar in the home itself?
the kitchen. The
Are you gonna
actual
say
kitchen.
Are you gonna say White Christmas kitchen? Because I'm gonna
Yes,
flip out. It's the
White Christmas.
grandfather's kitchen. It's not the
Yes,
kitchen they were talking in. It's the other kitchen that they flash
right.
back
It's
to
the
with the
grandfather's
table
kitchen.
that the girl was at
Yes,
when the grandfather got hit in the head. Right? Oh,
yes.
knew it.
It's the
Knew it. Oh,
grandfather's kitchen.
see, when you mentioned it, I could picture the whole thing. It is the same kind of wood cabinets. You got it. The same kind of stuff. Yep. It is very reminiscent. I don't know if it's exact, but it definitely
I
has
don't know
flashbacks.
that I did not have a chance to go back and look, but I
Mm-hmm.
plan to either
Mm-hmm.
tonight or tomorrow and see the similar because it is. I mean, that was like immediate struck me. It's like that's the grandfather's kitchen.
Mm-hmm.
That is the grandfather's kitchen.
Yeah, it was very reminiscent of that. For those of you that
Yeah,
haven't seen that episode, but they're all documented. For us,
they
the
are.
reviews are in a playlist, and you could still watch them all on Netflix, every single one.
Yes.
Liam said the music was a soundtrack for us. She was humming to something in her head, or the quantum computer mismatched the previously rendered scene with new music. No, but I get it. That's what I was wondering. That bump, 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 bump. Was she actually psychobabbling there? Like,
I think she
psychobabble.
was.
I think she was like,
Yeah.
she was obviously remembering a better time wearing a white leather nurse's outfit. I don't know.
Oh,
She
yeah.
was
She was like
definitely, there was a
in
glint in her eyes. She was a little bit happy. Like, I don't know.
no, she
Mm.
was in her own headspace during that time.
Yeah, I kind of agree with Liam about that. And it is funny thinking about the quantum computer mismatching it, and that's why it's off like that. That quantum computer thing is going to be stuck for every episode in my head, like this whole season.
And
Like,
the thing also is she was not like she was kind of in her own reality. Not like everyone else's reality, her own reality. It just didn't seem to fit with everyone else's.
Juju B is keeping a tally of how many times Liam says quantum computer each stream. Okay, for the whole series. I want to know. Okay. I was not crazy about the next one that everybody raves about. I know, like Mr. Malliot, I know you said you did like this episode. It was like you're new to Black Mirror, and you actually liked Loch Henry. You said that's why you were gonna check it out more because that's this one actually you liked, and I liked it too. I did. There's something. Shall I use a word that probably Wrecker and Kim are going to disagree with and hate? I know Wrecker, coming from where he's coming from, is going to hate it, and I think Kim's going to think it's just not a good term to use for it. But shall I say, for the first time in the series that I've been watching, Black Mirror, and I love Charlie Brooker, but shall we say this one was a little quaint? Like, it was
It
kind of
was.
cute. It was
I
cute.
can I can go along with that. I can
As
It was
definitely
a
go
far
along with
filler.
Blank.
It
as far as
it
getting a
was a
message
filler.
across, I do feel he softballed it, Wrecker. I do. I don't think he hit the issue hard enough, although it was very
No, I
dramatic
don't think
the
he
way they
did either.
expressed it. But the look on that guy's face at the end, it was perfection to me. Like I said,
Yeah,
I've never seen eyes so empty and so full at the
and
same time.
so
And
full of pain.
I gotta give them
Eh,
all credit for that.
Yeah.
That just really hung it
some
home.
it, one thing that I thought was probably a highlight in the entire show, the cooking was fantastic.
Well, he wanted to eat
That
the fish
woman
pie.
can
That fish
cook.
pie, Liam,
Right?
did that fish pie look great or what? It
Like,
It did
wasn't
look good.
runny. It looked so good,
It
and she
was
did a good
nice.
job with the shepherd's pie too. I
And
would
I
say.
bet it didn't have a soggy bottom either.
I have to give credit to a woman who actually grated her carrots instead of chopping them so that they got just as soft as the onions. She knew what the hell she was doing.
She
I give her
did.
credit. I do. I would have loved, and that fish pie. I don't even like a lot of fish pie, but that was a very good
It was a
looking
nice
fish
one.
pie. It's an English
Yeah.
thing, Mrs. Cassandra. It's like shepherd's pie, but it's made with fish. And you got to have it not too runny. It's got to be all pale and white. You got to use white potatoes, proper mash. She had on the fish pie, she had the lattice crust, which was perfect, right?
Right. The
Record. I mean,
fish
it
pie
was
mm,
was
gorgeous.
yeah, the
It
the
was
fish
beautiful.
pie was like a traditional
Yeah. She made Record hungry, like for
meat
Nan
pie,
cooking. Yeah.
but
Yeah.
her shepherd's pie had the mince in it.
White fish, fish nerd, any kind of good solid or flaky white fish is good.
Right.
It's got to be strong
you
enough to
have to
carry the
cook.
pie,
Yeah,
but
you have to cook for
not
the
this.
fish.
Yeah,
Uh-huh.
cooked
You
fish.
have
I'm
to cook
sorry, fish,
cook
but some
around the fish.
yeah. We're not going to use all fish nerd's fish in his tank. We're
Oh
just
no,
talking
no, we're
edible
No,
not.
fish.
Well,
No, no.
I make no promises.
Hey,
but
fish
you know,
pie
I
is
mean,
like it's like a casserole jujube in pie
it
crust.
is.
It's
It's
actually
it's like a
it
pot pie. Think of
yeah,
it
and
as a pot pie
it
without the
like
gravy.
like a mild one. It does have
Yeah,
a little bit of a gravy, but it's kind of firmer than that. Like you
it
don't want it
is.
runny, but or
It's firmed
dry.
up. Right.
And all of the flavors, nothing really stands out strong. Fish pie is supposed to like all kind of meld together, so you
Yes.
don't got that strong flavor of any of the other end dishes
No.
with it. It's just fish pie. I mean, and a good one, to be honest, is just traditionally good bland family cooking like your nan would make. Yeah.
Right.
And you still
It's
want to go back for seconds.
and you do. You usually eat the whole damn
Yeah.
thing, even though there's no special seasoning, there's no hot sauce, there's nothing.
No.
It's just yeah, it's good eats. It's just
Yeah,
good eats.
you eat the
It
fish
is.
pie, you blob out on the couch because you ate way too much, and you slightly regret it, but not really. And
And then you just put on Netflix and watch like
eh,
more Black Mirror. Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah.
Because it did make you hungry, though. At least the
It did.
cooking is good. The cooking is good. So, did
Oh,
anybody in
it.
the chat find any other Easter eggs or references, rather, to prior episodes or Black Mirror that Kim may have missed or Record missed? Hmm.
I'm just
Oh,
trying to
Harold said we
think.
did a great job of making him never want to eat fish pie. Look at that fish nerd. We saved all the fishes. See?
Yes.
Like, there you go. We saved the fishes for you. There you go. I know. The next one. Well, I hope that you will come and talk about the next one with us, Mr. Bellew,
Yes.
because if you weren't that crazy about it, we like hearing opposing. We got Record up here, and he's actually Brooker bashing all damn day, and we let him talk. So, like, you're
I
definitely welcome to talk about it. Kim and
I
I can
wanted
take
to
it.
give him his flowers. I wanted to. I really did. But he just phoned it in with it. He didn't even pick
He
up the
did.
phone.
And
He
I'm
he,
kind
he
of
didn't
glad.
even look that way. He
And
just rolled
I
over in
yeah,
bed and went to sleep.
I don't feel like he did because the first time I watched it was the day after it came out, the day after it was
Mhm.
dropped. And I had not been able to watch it until this morning. And I was like, I have to make myself watch it again
uh,
because otherwise I can't talk tonight.
Okay,
And I
take
knew
the
that
Black
that
Mirror
wouldn't be
name off
right.
of it. Take the
No,
Black Mirror
it
name
didn't
off
even
of
have
it.
anything to do with
And
that. It was where it hit me viscerally. It
mm,
hit something inside of me so intensely that I could not go back there again.
yeah.
but
I don't know.
it just
Mm.
it's very reminiscent of just other shows. It felt like a cut and paste episode.
it it
It
kind of I know you keep saying that, and I'm sorry. Do you feel that I'm
and I
like
don't
trying to
want it to.
convince you otherwise? Because I really do want you to have your say. Juju
No,
thinks I'm
I
lecturing you
want
too much, but
I want
yeah,
to. I want to have this episode
mm,
mean something,
more.
but
Hmm.
it just came across as
I, I I will
bland.
admit you did tell me that I was actually putting more, like I was just trying to find more in it than there was
That's what I
there.
think. That's
Like,
why I
yeah.
think it's gotten. That's why I think it's still gotten a good review is because people aren't going into it looking at it like it's an episode
Mhm.
of a show.
Mhm.
They're looking at it like it's a Black Mirror episode, so they're trying to actually put meaning to all sorts of things in there that were kind of just haphazardly thrown in there for storytelling.
Yeah, I get it. And Jojo brings a good point. Maybe that was the point. Cut and paste, not putting the effort in. Maybe that was the actual point, like the quantum computer would. But even without the quantum computer joke part, I'd like to expand on that. Maybe the point was that documentaries and all in deference or just a cut and paste of something that's already happened. And why are you doing it to hurt other people afterwards anyway? It's not usually always a good outcome. You made your money. That's not real talent. That's not creativity. Isn't there something better you could be doing than exploiting the lives of others?
But are we drawing that inference from the show or just because it's a Black Mirror episode?
No, I'm
I don't
drawing
Because
the
you
think
could draw
inference
the
having it.
because
same. You could
uh,
draw the same inference from Blair Witch.
yes, you could.
See,
I
yeah,
probably, and I did. I was like, well,
yeah,
that's what you get. Like you can become the story when you're going crazy trying to make a
right.
story. You can become the story. That's what
You
I took from
can,
Blair
and I
Witch.
don't. I don't
Yeah.
think it has anything to do with it being a quote unquote Black Mirror episode. I think it's more about. I think this season, Charlie is going meta. He is going more against a lot of these streaming services and things like that, and
Mhm.
how we as the viewing public are interacting with them. I mean, after Joan is Awful, after I watched this one the first time, I actually went into Netflix and I looked at my list, and I would have to say 95% of my list had something to do with crime.
Mm.
I didn't have anything light and happy. Everything was dark and dismal and depressing.
I it could be a point he's making. He has done interviews where he is against all of that. He thinks it promotes those cycles that are out there that actually
And he
walk for
thinks
fame
it
and fortune.
glamorizes
Yeah.
it and actually
Yeah.
discredits
The
the
work that people
victims.
do. It discredits the
And
victim. It
the it dis
re-victimizes them
it
for sure.
re-victimizes them. It can re-traumatize the families for the victims that have passed on, and you're just, you're glamorizing the whole persona of
Mhm.
the criminal. And
Hmm.
I mean, we're seeing this today with some of the cases that are sitting
Okay.
out there today. We're still seeing that now.
I know, because like Liam says, would we be talking about it now if my quantum computer hadn't generated it today? We only remember it existing before because that is what happens in the universe in which this episode exists. I get you, Liam. Like when we go round and round again. I know. Stop. Everyone in the chat is gonna implode. Like we're all gonna just implode. Like, yeah. No, but I get it. It is. It's easy to make too much of it, and like Wrecker
Right.
said, there just wasn't enough there to really expand it as large as we wanted to make it. Like I said, it was kind of quaint. It did say its point. But Wrecker said it, there are other shows that have done the same thing and said made the same point. And I don't think Charlie is saying that his point is original at all.
No, I don't think so
Yeah.
I
either.
oh, if I was gonna put a word to it, I would call this episode humble
Humble. That's
because
kind of quaint. That's actually kind of quaint coming from Mr. Humble. Like, actually, I could go with that, actually.
it 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 wasn't. I kind of think if Charlie Brooker was going to go for something meta, then he's going to be fully aware of that. So
Mhm.
I think he intentionally. This is going to be a stretch, but he may have intentionally made this episode like this to throw people off.
Well, and he has even said before this season came out, expect the unexpected. It's going to be different. And there
Mhm.
was actually a short interview that I did happen. I try not to look at anything, but it came up and it was there before I could get rid of it. And he was actually talking
Mhm.
about meta episodes.
Yeah. Yeah.
So he
No,
had put that out there
I
himself.
get it. I get it. And like, and you know what? I don't even think it like that's weird. I did quote that interview. It's in the description. I kept it in there to remind everybody that he is saying it from the beginning that it's
Uh-huh.
going to be different. It's going to be, freshened up. It's not going to be exactly the
It's
same.
Yeah,
Um,
he's even said it's not
But
the
is he
same
already
old Black
making a meta
Mirror.
excuse?
you see,
Mm.
I still like. I hear what you're saying about the level of this episode compared to his other episodes. But as far as a standalone episode, if I was watching this alone, it was still entertaining. I
Oh,
still
yeah.
Oh,
enjoyed
don't
the
get me wrong.
twist.
It
I
really
still
was.
would have enjoyed how they portrayed Janet. It still would have
Uh-huh.
freaked me out. Yes, I love Brooker. Well, this episode alone, although not up to as tantalizing as he can get me and thought provoking, I would say it is entertaining by itself and
Yeah,
better
Yeah.
than
and
a lot of them out there that are doing the same thing.
Yeah.
I,
So,
I we spoke about this a little bit before, but I think I get the feeling from this episode that it was actually a very early iteration of what he was thinking for Black Mirror, like
mhm,
a like an episode that he had already written, and as he was trying to flesh out the idea of having this hyper meta, um, reference filled, thought provoking series.
mhm.
And this may have just been an infant in the infancy of it, and he just
Yeah.
wanted to put it into Black Mirror because maybe he had some sort of something personal with it.
I don't yeah, I kind of get that idea that it might have even been something he wrote to do something else with, or like he
Yeah.
wrote it in the beginning and then didn't use it and now he's bringing it forward. I did get that feel also, and I think that came out when we were talking about it earlier. And I kind of thought Kim would agree too, because even the writing style was a little more less tongue in cheek
It
than it
was.
has been in prior years. So
It was a very traditional. That's what it is. It's a
mhm.
very traditional episode.
It
It
is, but
It
is it purposely made that way because of what he was talking about, where he was
exactly.
happening, and the era that it was in?
well,
Like,
that's what
did
Yeah.
I was.
I
he
think
yeah.
so.
That's
I
that's what I'm
yeah.
thinking is that if it is an episode that was, from the development of Black Mirror, of course it's going to be a very traditional episode because he's only just fleshing it out.
And I don't think it was from that development stage at all. I
Mhm.
really don't. Just from different things that I've seen, little snippets that I've seen of what Brooker has been saying about this season. And like I said, I'm purposely not reading any of his articles or anything yet until we get all the way through. And then
Mhm.
I will go back and read exactly what all he says about this. But I
Mhm.
know as far as like a couple of other episodes in this season, they
True.
are very non Black Mirror.
Mm, very much.
Uh huh.
So Juju says, "Do you think Brooker ever watches the analysis of the episodes and adapts fan theories as purposeful points he was trying to make?"
Yes,
Yes.
I a
I'm
hundred
sure he.
percent
Uh,
believe that there is
he
at I honestly think he's probably one of the types of people where Claire he may even watch this.
okay, now. Hi, Charlie. Call me.
Hey, Charlie.
Hey, Charlie. You can call me. We'll talk. We'll
Right?
talk, Charlie. Yeah.
Yeah, we will
Well,
definitely talk.
think of, I mean, if you think about it, look at how many references he's actually thrown into his other episodes from people who have actually looked at his previous episodes that he's mentioned. That, like, for instance, in season two.
hmm Liam said Charles Dickens did it when he wrote episodic stories in the
Yeah,
newspaper. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
it's a common thing to do. And Juju reminds me about the episode that the deadline was moved up and that quantum computer had to work fast. Let's cut it
right?
a break. Like, no, you guys are all great. I'm going to wrap this up though. We went a little bit longer than we thought. Great find on the Easter egg references.
Easter egg
Okay.
slash references.
Yeah. How
Oh,
let's
and
compromise and call them Easter references.
references, yes.
Yeah.
Can
Or
can
Reference
I
eggs.
can I put
reference
something out
eggs. There you
there?
go.
Yeah.
Reference eggs is better. I like that. Yeah.
Okay, can I
Yeah.
put a challenge out now?
Okay.
I decided I kind of like my little spider robotic donkey,
Oh, okay.
but I need a name for him.
Oh, okay.
And
So,
he's got to have like a really wonderful name.
all right.
And I mean, I've come up with a couple that are still on my list.
Mm.
I have a twist on, you know, the wonderful Don Quixote. which is a wonderful literary work.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought donkey, and then because Charlie Welch gave us the Brooker hookers, so donkey would be his first name, Hoti would be his last name,
Mm-hmm.
because
Like Don
it's so
Quixote. Yeah.
yeah, like Don Quixote. And then
Mm-hmm.
the other one I thought of was Mortis de la Rigor. Call
Mortis
him
de la
Mort.
Rigor. Oh
Uh-huh.
God, that's very rigid of you.
Yeah. And of course, his pronouns I've already decided are going to be FAFO.
FAFO.
You know,
Okay.
F around and find out.
Yeah. Okay. That is pro. All right. So, okay. So, for those of you that are willing to accept this challenge to name Kim's donkey, either agree with one she said or come up with something new, you can hit the back of the video and let us know. I
Yeah,
may, on the
let me
community tab, put the names up for voting. Kim,
know.
just write them all out for me. And any ones you guys want to add, either put them in chat or hit the back of that video. And we'll do a poll. We will actually put the vote up like 2 days before, like on
Yeah,
Thursday before of next week, so that you can vote before we do the show on Saturday. But I hope that those of you that are enjoying Black Mirror will come back next Saturday to discuss it with us. And I had fun. Thank you for joining us,
I
Wrecker.
did
And I'm
too.
sorry
It was
that
good.
I'm sorry if we pushed too hard, like on you. Like
No,
I'll
no,
try.
I honestly, no, I honestly, I, as an episode, it was good. Like, don't get me wrong, the episode was good. It just wasn't Black Mirror.
It wasn't, and you've watched some of the more profound ones. Like I know because when you first hadn't heard of it, I was talking to you about a few of the most impactful ones. So he's seen Black Mirror at its best. So I can't blame you for being disappointed, like a little bit about what you saw, because it just didn't have the same feel or stand. And I get that, and I don't expect them all to be the same,
I don't
too.
expect them to all
Yeah.
be like mind blowing
Hmm.
masterpieces, but they're Brooker, from what I understand, has a very important point to make in his creations,
Hmm.
and I just don't think he hit the mark here.
With the message was softball, like we're not getting it, and it's a
Yeah,
message that's already out
it,
there, but perhaps it's one he thinks people aren't paying attention to.
Yeah,
it,
You know.
it just it just feels like it's like you're trying to have to force the message into it, as
Mm-hmm.
opposed to the message just coming naturally.
Mm.
I think is my biggest issue. It doesn't it just like with the last
it
one,
didn't feel as
the
organic.
yeah,
Right.
you kind of had to shoehorn the reasons for the episode in, as
Mm-hmm.
opposed to, let's say, with Jonah is awful. It was very organic with how it flowed together and how it was portrayed, and
Mm-hmm.
it seemed real. Like this episode still seemed real, but it just seemed like a
Like a retelling of the previous
like
story.
yeah,
Yeah.
like a retelling of Psycho, or
Mm-hmm.
as I said, Psycho, Blair Witch, um, those
The
sort of
straw man. Yeah.
yeah.
No, I
Eh,
get it. Yeah.
but it was
I can.
good,
Yeah.
and I'm
And
glad those actors got a chance to put themselves on the screen. To be honest,
that was some
if
good
anything,
acting, I'd
that
have to
was
It
admit.
was. It was very good.
Mm-hmm.
I applaud Brooker for actually finding different actors, as opposed to, because he's clearly shown that he is connected enough to be able to bring in
He gets the
actors
top ones.
so
Yeah.
heavy hitting
Oh yeah.
that it would just blow our minds.
Mm-hmm.
But he still goes after the smaller actors,
Yep.
and
He
he
just
wants to give them their flowers.
Yeah,
Hmm.
the casting that they do is really to the part
It's
and to what they're
powerful.
trying to portray. It's very color. I
Yeah.
do enjoy it. I think they do. Like when he comes with building a team like that, I've always said that like he's very, very good at that.
Yeah.
Keeping his vision in mind and getting all the key players that are going to help put it out there. It's just like at this point, I would say like I don't understand what he was trying. totally to prove with this episode, but it could just be that he wasn't trying to prove anything. Maybe he just took a breath, and if this is the breath, I'm okay with it.
Yeah,
Actually,
if
yeah.
if if he wanted, maybe this was just a break episode. As I said, maybe he did it as a filler, and that's okay. Like every good show has its fillers.
Hmm. Hmm. Yeah. Okay. Well, I think we can wrap on that. Hopefully, I'll see you
Yeah.
all back next week. And
Mm-hmm.
yeah, you're okay, right, Record? Like, let you be know that
Absolutely.
you survived.
I'm
You're gonna be okay.
I can
Yeah.
handle some blows.
Oh, let me tell you, and boy, he can hold his own weight. Like we've been, yeah. This is just what you saw here. It's been going on for days. Like, yeah, days. Yeah, he can definitely hold his own. Just like, I am a Brooker fan, and he's not actually not a Brooker fan. He just thought this
I am
episode was.
I am absolutely a Brooker fan.
Yeah, I was firm but fair. Thank you, Juju. See, I didn't
Mm.
take him down because I want to hear what he has to say. I'm just not gonna, I'm not gonna always agree on everything, and neither is Wrecker, and neither is Kim. Kim and I don't agree all the time,
No, we
although
don't.
we when it
Mm.
comes to this, sometimes we do. You know, Shut up there, Rocket Couch. Like, oh, Jesus Christ. Why is that the last thing I have to read before I go offline? Okay, anyway,
Yeah.
thank you for
No,
that.
I didn't need to
Okay,
see
thank
that.
you. Yeah, no, no, no.
And
Anyway, but
Mrs.
next week,
Cassandra, please feel better.
I do hope you feel better, Mrs.
Mm.
C. And now she's not feeling well. You're
I
feeling
know.
crappy. You got what Gremlin got. I'm so sorry.
I
We
think the little
missed
man
you.
got her sick.
We missed you last night, and what was this? Kim, are you doing anything? I know you've been kind of swamped with work and all, so you're not putting out any of your beautiful art right now on Instagram, are you? Or on
Um,
YouTube?
not right now, but I am
Mm-hmm.
working on something. I have a work in progress. I do have a reel of it in the first stage on my Instagram.
Mm-hmm.
I'm trying to get it resized and everything so I can upload at least a short
Right.
onto YouTube, and
Mm-hmm.
hoping I can get the motivation up and everything to actually finish it tomorrow
Mm-hmm. I think I
and
have
get
your
it
Twitter.
filmed.
Your Twitter and your channel linked. I'll have to add the Instagram link there because there's some beautiful art there that you've done that they can go back and
Thank
look at.
you.
Yeah, and
Thank you very
I'll link
much.
that there because it is quite beautiful. And I know you've been pretty busy too, Rickard. Like I do link your channel. I will add it here for them. Most people. Let's just see. Let me get your. Hold on a second. I could right
If I
click your
if I
name.
if I have to do the whole YouTubey thing, I'm 3 away from 100.
Oh
Good for
gosh,
you.
yes.
Yeah.
If you're not subscribed to him, I know it's rap covers it, but it is creative and original on its own. Like, let's get him 3 subs there. And now you're doing a lot of your music theory and all on Kick, and that's a new platform too. I think we dropped that
Yes.
line when we streamed last night, and I think they can find that on your YouTube channel too, right? All your other links too.
Mm-hmm.
If you don't like the rap, he's also got a SoundCloud, and the new stuff on Kick is a little bit of rap, but it's a lot more too. It's a lot more. Well,
Yeah, I like to shoot lemons.
oh God, do we have to talk about the killing of the lemon again? Oh yeah, not good. Kim, you just don't know. You just don't know. Yeah.
That's not
Anyway,
a euphemism. I actually shoot lemons
he
sometimes.
actually shot a lemon, yeah,
Oh,
with an archery bow,
but
not a gun, just an archery bow.
was
Yeah,
it a compound?
yeah.
Yeah.
It
Yeah.
is.
I'm
He's
a
actually you would
yeah.
like it, Kim. He's actually pretty good. You should check out the Kick.
I
He
I
does archery practice.
I
Yeah.
do like archery, and I do like
Mhm.
working with
Wait,
compound bow.
where do you get a look at that bow? It's something.
I I'll actually have to drop Claire a picture I did one time when I was just it's not with a bow, it's actually with a long
Mhm.
gun, but
All right. Well,
tearing up
now
some
I'm
paper.
Nope. Well, I'd appreciate that. Hey, no worries, Mousy. Get everybody to bed.
Yeah.
Everybody in chat, thank you for joining us and contributing to the conversations.
Yes.
Like I say always, that's the best part. You guys joining us to the contribute. Thank you, Wrecker, for your contribution. Kim, as always, it's a
It was
pleasure.
enjoyable.
I look
Thank
forward to
you.
next week.
Thank you,
Oh,
Claire.
yeah.
Thank you.
Yep. And like I say, everybody's opinions are welcome. Hope to see you all again really, really soon. I will be doing panels over the weekend. I'm going to try to do regular content next week. I'm really excited about the challenge that I'm doing with Charlie Welsh and Patrick the Great and JL Warren once a week about media, all kinds of platforms, movies, series, all of that stuff. Kind of like this Black Mirror stuff. But we still will have what the F on the weekend, the panels, and I am going to more than likely put out a true crime in the beginning of the week. There's a lot going on. There's a lot going on that I
There's a
gotta
lot.
catch catch up with. I owe you guys some updates. So if you want to talk about it, I'll see y'all next week. Well, on that, I think that we're out of here. You say goodnight, guys.
Night night.
Yeah.
Night.
See y'all soon.
See ya.